Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Come on in. Sit down. It's time for episode number 173 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Today, we're going to be talking a little scary gimmicks. We're going to be talking a little crown jewel, a little PWI 500, and even a little TNA today. So I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, and everybody listening to all those podcast platforms out there. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to the flagship podcast of the Sit Down Marks. Let me bring in first my panel, I guess, of marks, if you will. First of all, on the East Coast, the one with the most. Let's get it going. Primo, how you doing?
Let's
brother?
go. Let's go. I just want to say that in spooky season fashion, fruit candy is superior to chocolate candy. Also, additionally, I'm so happy that we are finally in fall, finally in the spooky season. It's my favorite time of year. I got a hoodie on. My hands are actually kind of chilly. It's a little chilly in my house. I know I was born and raised in Texas, but I love the cold. So I'm ready to get it going.
And the other mark on the podcast, you might call him just Dylan, green hat guy, but ladies, just so you still know.
Hello, lady.
The man is still single, and we're looking for a partner for this guy. I don't know. He might hate us doing this every podcast now, but either way, Dylan, what's going on, brother? Good to see you this weekend, and good to see you on the pod now.
Yes, sir. What's up, boys? Marks Mafia, we're back. Thanks for tuning in. I saw my good friend Terry Funk over the weekend, so I asked him, hey, Terry, like, how long am I going to be single? You know what he said? Forever.
Forever.
Oh,
that was good. Very good. Very good, sir. Yeah, man. Lots happening in wrestling right now. A lot of stuff to get to it. So, Primo, if you will, man, let's get started. 5 topics in the world of pro wrestling. We call that the hot start round here. Let's go. All right. Topic number 1, boys. We didn't get to talk about it last pod, but let's talk about this pod. So your first inductee into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame is Stephanie McMahon. You think it's deserving?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I don't see why not. I think she's contributed a ton. I mean, she's been in it her whole life, both on screen and backstage and as an executive. Right. Yeah, I don't that we literally, I mean, I know she's older than me, but she's grown up in front of everybody in the company.
Yeah.
So, and no, I do think that the surprise induction for her was kind of funny with Taker coming out and doing it, but it was more of a gotcha thing because they did the same thing to Triple H. But no, it's cool. I'm down with it.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, as soon as we got done recording the last pod, it kind of hit me like, oh, shoot, we didn't even mention that at all. Mm-hmm. And, very well deserved, whether it is the McMahon-Helmsley era when she was with Triple H or her role as the GM or, any of the times she's popped back on screen since, everything she's done behind the scenes. It's not just that, hey, it's the boss's daughter, so we have to put her in. Like, no, she earned her spot.
I have 2 moments with Stephanie that I'll always remember. First was when they put her up on the cross when they when the old Undertaker thing was going on. And second, any guesses?
Jericho. That's what I think of.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good one too. But I always remember when she's passed out and Triple H marries her.
Oh, well, of course.
Okay, yeah. The obvious, yeah.
Yeah,
like that was so obvious that I was expecting some,
the old
I saw her at a gas station in North Carolina, and something like that.
I'll always remember those, and she was definitely a part of the Attitude Era. Yeah, made it the Attitude Era. Us as growing young boys, so to speak, when
Absolutely.
when
Yeah.
Stephanie got some extra enhancements, if you will. All of us were pretty excited because Stephanie's a beautiful woman, and that put her on another whole nother plateau. You know what I mean? So boss's daughter. You know what I mean? It had to be hard growing up, in the business, and then shocker, she ended up with a wrestler. Married to one, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, I think definitely deserved to as well.
Yeah, for sure. I always think, like I said, Jericho and The Rock always just roasting her on the mic. Those are always great too.
Yeah, I always feel like Jericho roasted her the best. He always had like nicknames for her and long scroll lists of things. Yeah, so all right,
Things you
number
couldn't
2.
say on TV today.
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
All right, boys. So a yearly thing is the PWI 500 that comes out. Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500, where once a year they rate the top 500 wrestlers in the world. This is independent wrestlers, professional or signed wrestlers, should I say? New Japan, all across the world. This 500 is supposed to mean like, the top 500, of all time. And
What's the active voting period?
Yeah, they do have. I think it's cut off like. Because this usually comes out, I think, at the end of September, going into October, somewhere around in there. So I think the cutoff is actually back before that. Like maybe
it's like July to June or August to July or something like that.
Yeah.
So they have time to print it up and everything.
Right. Yeah. They actually do end up putting it on there, like when the cutoff time is. So let me say this before we kind of get into it. This is probably the one I'm, usually I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, that kind of makes sense. This is probably the one that I'm like least agreeable with, and like it's not like the first 100. It's everything after that to me. You know what I mean? Like, but let's hop into it. So your top 5 was Cody, Moxley, Gunther, Adam Page, and Goto. Basically outside of Seth, probably the top guys in all the companies here. But Cody, number 1 again. Usually you don't see the same wrestler, go back to back. What do you guys think about Cody getting number 1 again?
I think it's fine. This is the kayfabe, like they take wins and losses into their voting and titles, everything like that. So like he was, the top guy in WWE for most of that voting period. I get it. I don't have a problem with it. There's probably other names you could argue with it, but
sure.
I don't have a problem with Cody being number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kusha Nia Twain, that don't impress me much.
Right.
But it is what it is. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. I'm kind of indifferent. Like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm not like, yeah, he deserves, he's absolutely number 1.
Yeah. And see, like me being a part of the independent scene, like I have a problem because I feel like a lot of times the independent wrestlers that get on the top 500 usually don't deserve to be there. I don't want to say they deserve to be there, but usually they get about half of that right. There's usually another handful of people that they miss that I'm just like, how? You know what I mean? You get on there. You can forget it. I'm not going to say any names because I work in independent wrestling, so I'm not getting heat with anybody. But I will say this. There's some people that didn't make the list that kind of blows my mind, and I'm gonna just talk about one right off the bat. And I know Dylan, will agree with me. But how do you not put Gary J on, in the top 500? Like this guy's probably the best in St. Louis. You know what I mean? Might be the best in the Midwest, but he's at least in the talk. You know what I mean? And so there's people that obviously on the list that shouldn't be, and vice versa. I don't see how Connor Hopkins is not on this list. You know what I mean? But whatever is what it is, right? But let's a few names out here. Number 29 was Vikingo. Number 76, Mike Bailey. There's one I have a huge problem with. Like, what? Like, how is Mike Bailey 76th in the world? Like, I don't know. That one just kind of befuddles me big time. 40s Marcus Mathers. 42 was Effie. Number 50, Mance Warner. My favorite in the world right now, Jay White at 86. Joy Janela comes in at 98. That one's a little befuddling to me too, just because, I mean, this is supposed to be for, the people that make noise in the business and, stuff like that. And 5-6 years ago, maybe, you know what I mean? But I don't know. That one's a little weird. Real one, Enzo Amore. He's 300. He's number 396. Now, he shouldn't be on this list, but I'm sure they mean 396 means how many times he's canceled a booking, or probably when he said he's double booked himself, maybe, or something like that. So that kind of makes more sense. Three former guests on the podcast made the list. Obviously, Billy Starks at 385. She should be way lower. That's crazy to me. Solomon Tupu, you heard him at the top in the intro. He's number 481, and probably the one wrestler that made this list that really made me feel like, oh yeah. So when me and Primo AJ started this pod, when we start jumping into what wrestlers are we going to interview, or wrestlers are we going to talk to? Well, there's this guy over in Blackpool. His name is he goes by RPD. His name is Ryan Paul. He didn't know me and Primo from Adam, you know what I'm saying? And he agreed to be on the podcast, like one of the first guys, if not the first. And he made the list this year at 497.
That's so cool.
Yeah, right. I know, it's so cool. And he just had a big match at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Over there. So super cool. Happy to see him make it.
Back when we met him, he had just got done being a pro boxer.
Yeah. So we've kind of seen the evolution of him, and now he's making the top 500, which is, super awesome. But yeah, so I just feel like this list was a little trivial. Let me, I guess, to me, this year versus, past years or whatever. So, but, it's, yes, I'm in the business. Yes, we all want to see our friends do well. You know what I mean? But, also when certain people don't make the list that should be, it just kind of befuddles me. And I don't know let me say this year, Dylan, I'll let you talk. This year just seemed like a popularity contest to me. There was a huge rumor going around amongst independent wrestlers that you could, I don't know how true this is. I'm just going to put it out there because it would kind of make sense. But there was a little rumor going around that, if you paid a certain amount or, knew certain people, you could get on the list, this year. It kind of makes sense to me this year. But what do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, just on that point real quick. I mean, I can't imagine there being any shady politics around a wrestling magazine.
Not wrestling. Right?
That, yeah, that's just blasphemy there. One of the things about the list, it kind of makes me realize how big wrestling is. Because 500 sounds like a big number. And then you start looking at all the people that aren't on the list and you're like, my gosh, how many people are in this business? A couple of those names you threw out, questionable spots. I can say with 100% certainty, there's not 500 better wrestlers than Gary J. There's not 100 better wrestlers than Gary J. But that's, when we make the sit down marks 500, we'll have him in the appropriate spot. Sure. Like you said, cool seeing some of the guests on the pod. Cool seeing Billy on there. Yeah. I got to kind of disagree with you on the speedball. I think that I think he should be up closer to number one if you're going. But when you start mixing in the kayfabe stuff, I can see where he would fall that far back. I feel like that's a drop from him.
Sure.
I like to say this is just the A people of college or of pro wrestling. If you want to get serious about it, you can overreact to everything. Yeah. And then if you realize it's just a kayfabe list, it's still fun to look at. I'm not downing it on that by any means. I love looking at it. I love when it comes out, seeing people get excited about where they're at. And,
sure.
I'm not putting it down at all. Especially when I was a kid, it was more cool than it is now because now I know most of the people in the 500. Right. When you're a kid, you're looking at it and you're like, oh wow, who are all these people I've never even heard of? Yeah. It's it's a fun yearly debate, a good
Sure.
Twitter day when it comes out and everybody's overreacting to it.
Yeah. All right, Primo, here you go, man. Here's your answer. Evaluation period, August 1st, 2024 to July 31st, 2025. So they cut off right at the end of July. So
All right.
that kind of makes sense. So, yeah. This one had me scratching my head a little bit more than say other years, whatever. But anyway,
do you have the list in front of you, DB?
I do.
Where's Osprey at on there? Him not being in the top 5 is kind of surprising to me.
He's
because
top
everybody's
10,
all like best in the world. Will Osprey? All
right. While I'm going for, I already told you top 5. 6 was Jey Uso. 7 Swerve Strickland. 8 Seth Rollins. 9 Mystico, and 10 Will Ospreay.
10, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Primo, I'm gonna stick with you, buddy. Your boys had a big week last week at Bound for Glory. The Hardy Boys, so to speak, Primo's boys, became once again the NXT Tag Team Champions and TNA Tag Team Champions. They retired the Hardy Boys. They retired the Dudley Boys. Over the weekend. Really cool spot into the match. The Dudleys gave the Hardys their boots.
Right.
But yeah, man, how's it feel to see you boys racking up more?
It's kind of crazy because they won. So they already had the TNA belts. Then they won the NXT tag titles on NXT. And then they went and they won another one. I don't recall the name of the promotion, but they have another belt too. And then they went to Bound for Glory and basically put it all on the line against the Dudley Boys. It's just crazy because those 2 belts that we see here, the TNA and NXT. So one TNA, one WWE belt, both being on the line, and in a TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view, in a tag team tables match against the Dudley Boys is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that alone, obviously we knew the Dudley Boys were not going to win, but they, the naive people out there that thought that there was a potential for that, I guess that's cool for them. But
wrestling
also, the very end spot where Bubba's like, okay, you boys can have it. And he let them throw him through the table. And then they did the big embrace. When you stop and think about it, when they were hugging, and Jeff was kind of clearly emotional about it. You stop and think about the last 27 years of history that they have, and that's and everything they've done, and and how they impacted the businesses in the tag team division. It's pretty crazy, but no, it is pretty cool to see them doing all that. It's good to see them both do it, because I remember just 2 years ago, maybe not even that, maybe a year and a half ago, we were like, okay, I love the Hardy Boys, but at that time I was like, are they kind of moving slower? But now I'm just like, all right. Yeah, they're kind of they're still doing all right. So no, I'm cool with it.
What'd you think, Dylan? You watched the pay-per-view, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, I did.
It was hard.
I'll stay positive and focus on this match for a second, though. I really like the match. Like, obviously, it's not the year 2000 anymore, but all 4 of them still went for it. They still brought it. It wasn't like an old-timers table match where there's, the slightest bump through a table just so you can say you went through a table.
Sure.
Jeff did the swanton on Devon through tables in the entranceway. Looked like Jeff may have bumped his head pretty good. So hope he's good there. That might just be a normal, Sunday night for Jeff Hardy. Who knows? But yeah, when I first saw the finish, I didn't love it, but quickly, I understood what they were going for. At first, I was like, he just quit fighting. What was the point of that? But then I was like, okay, this is like the old gunslinger. You've got me. You bested me. Just go ahead and end me type thing. Yeah. And that was really cool. The pay-per-view itself, I had several pretty big issues with. If you shoot yourself in the foot so many times, eventually you don't have a foot to shoot. So TNA still got some screws to tighten up, but I didn't notice any big technical issues this time, so that's a huge plus.
Yeah,
just
Santana, new champ.
Yeah, that match was good. Santana won the title. He should have won the same anniversary. We can look past that. He wins the title, and they immediately tease 2 cash-ins of their equivalent to Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And then gave him his big moment. And by the time he had his moment, the arena's half empty. People are already leaving. Javon Evans and Leon Slater had just a ridiculous, amazing, incredible match. Would have been an all-timer X Division title match. And then they had NXT's Dark State come out and cause a no contest, just ruined all of it. Their gauntlet, they had to determine they got to call your shot. Like I said, it's kind of the Money in the Bank type thing for them. On your biggest show of the year, you do this gauntlet, and Nick Nemeth and Kazarian pin each other, become co-holders of this trophy. Just like, if you want to do that on, one of your in-between pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Not your biggest show of the year when you got all this momentum from the NXT shows. Because the NXT TNA stuff's been pretty fun, and you get everybody to tune in, and you say, hell yeah, we got 2 people winning this battle royal. We gave you this great match with one of the worst endings ever. And we gave Santana his moment, and then we really cut it short, and we gave it back to him.
Yeah.
Some good stuff on it. Hardy's Dead Elites were good, but I was kind of aggravated on Sunday night. But, oh well, it's what it is.
All right. Topic number 4, just kind of a note, boys. It recently just got announced, I believe, officially yesterday. Elimination Chambers coming to Chicago. I believe that one is in March, early March, or end of February, something like that. So kind of cool. I don't know that the Elimination Chamber's been in Chicago for a while, but it's funny now when they announce something in Chicago, I immediately think, all right, what are we doing with CM Punk here? Is this going to be a big match for him? Is he going to win the thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously who knows, but it's back at Allstate too. So,
okay.
So glad to see that, but
yeah, I'd missed that. If we start saving money now, we might be able to pitch in and get 1 ticket between the 3 of us,
Yeah.
Or we might be able to afford a down payment on a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I texted you guys today. So I got on the pre-sale just to see how much tickets were for for pre-sale for DC and Cena's last match on December 13th. 4,000 I texted you guys was around the ringside, and then going up in the levels, the cheapest I seen as of now was 1,500 just to get in the building. So
is it sold out now?
I don't know. Today was pre-sale, so I'm sure pre-sale sold out. So I mean, it's going to be on its way, I guess. But I don't like this, man. Like they're pricing. You've heard people say it. They're pricing out. Imagine if I wanted to take my kids to that. It's $5,000 to go to a pay-per-view now.
Hell no, you might as well go to Disneyland.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, anyway, the beat goes on, right? Because they don't get cheaper. You know what I mean? Once they go up, they don't go back down. So
I'll go spend $20 at the gas station on a 12-pack of beer, and then go sit in the recliner for free.
Yeah. At $29.99, ain't looking too bad sitting at home.
Yeah,
right.
But anyway, all right. Topic number 5, boys. To close that out, let's talk a little WWE Crown Jewel. So this came on at 7 or 8 in the morning, depending on what time zone you were at. Saturday, I ended up going back and watching it Sunday because had things to do Saturday morning. But did you guys watch this live?
No.
I know you
not live,
Dylan. Yeah, okay.
No, it was coming on as I was getting up to go to Dreamwave. I missed it live. But.
Yeah,
I had forgotten. I woke up and I was like, oh.
Yeah. So shenanigans. Bronson Reed defeated Roman Reigns in the Australian street fight. But the talk coming out of this is Cena and Styles, man. What you guys think about this match? Because I was pretty happy with it.
They put on another classic. They went through the different, callbacks and tributes that they did. There was a bunch of them. Of course, the the Bray Wyatt tribute is the one that's really making its way around the internet.
Yep.
But then AJ Styles even did a couple. He did Christopher Daniels and stuff like that. It's cool. I mean, I think it's cool. It's like a way of John Cena saying thank you to everybody he's ever faced, like all his big rivals. You know. I will say I noticed like when he tombstoned AJ, he immediately picked him up and did the AA on him because like everything else, a lot of those finishes are protected. So it's like
sure.
So I mean, people have kicked out of the tombstone before, but it's one of those things. That one's supposed to be a killer. So he went and he did him AA and then pinned him then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Cena, I'm taking it all as being real. Maybe I'm getting worked, but Cena handed a handwritten intro for Alicia Taylor to read for AJ Styles,
sure.
Talking about him in TNA and his role as the Bullet Club. And like, that was really cool. And AJ sold it as if that was the first time he was hearing it.
Yeah.
If I'm getting worked, great. It came across perfect. I loved AJ being in like TNA looking gear, what he used to wear there.
Yeah.
I loved that it wasn't like Primo said, it wasn't just Cena doing other people's moves. AJ did Daniel's Angel's Wings. He used Joe's Choke. He did Sting's Stinger or Scorpion Death Drop.
Yeah. Somebody said he did something for Frankie Kazarian does too. Like there was some kind of move.
Yeah. So there was both of them, a lot of different callbacks, and they're doing it like in a way that makes sense. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to hit this move that, The Rock used to do, and then sell it and you get up and you hit me with, some mojo. Like they make it flow really well. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. And they can't, I shouldn't say they can't. It'd be hard to expect them to go back and like put on a match as good as their like 16, 17 SummerSlam and Rumble, just instant classics.
Sure.
So to go in and like throw in all the throwbacks, I loved it. Great spot.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be, and after that I was like, whatever. I don't care what else happens, but we did see Stephanie Vaquer, as Michael Cole always says it, win the women's championship, and she won the huge ass Crown Royal belts. Crown Royal, shit.
Crown Royal,
Crown Royal, Apple Peach,
Crown Jewel belts. In the ring. Rhea and Io beat the Kabuki Warriors. It was all right, but Seth winning and finally beating, Cody and winning the title, or winning the Crown Jewel title or whatever. But I was kind of like, huh? Because Monday, right? So we get the Monday morning Raw, depending on, you know what I mean, when you watched it. I actually did watch it Monday, and Braun Breaker turned on Seth. So, we got a little turmoil in the vision or whatever. And there's these big, rumors about Seth being hurt, and they're going to have to sidestep, and that kind of stuff. But, I mean, with like the visionary, I guess, when he hit that stomp that came, he went up on like the top, was it top rope or second rope or whatever?
Second rope. I
was kind of like, oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that yet. Please, Cody, don't get up from that, or else like you're
right.
Immortal.
It's like the super stomp.
Yeah. So that was, I like that. And,
I wrote it down. He hit him with his watch. Seth hit Cody with his watch, and then he hit the normal stomp, and then went up and hit the second rope stomp, all in sequence. I had that same thought, DB. I was like, Cody, if you kick out of this, my gosh.
But he's
like, QB1.
Protect it. Right. Yeah, he is QB1. So, but let's wrap it up on Crown Jewel, man. I don't know that it, like, knocked my socks off. Like, it felt like a mini pay-per-view with like a huge John Cena match in it. You know what I mean? It felt like a backlash or something with a big Cena match.
Backlash.
You know,
Yeah. Since they've introduced the champion versus champion, the Crown Jewel pay-per-view does feel a little bit off because there's like nothing massively at stake. You know, neither one of the titles are on the line. I enjoyed this a lot better than WrestlePalooza. Maybe that's the difference in Cena having a good match with AJ and just being squashed by Brock last time.
Yeah,
I really liked the Rhea and Io versus Kabuki Warriors tag.
Yeah,
I watched this just a side note. If you have that ESPN, Hulu, Disney bundle, a bunch of the stuff from all three services goes to Disney Plus. So I watched it on the Disney app instead of on the ESPN app, and the fast forwarding. Because, I mean, if we're not watching it live, we're fast forwarding through quite a bit. The fast forwarding worked so much better on the Disney app than it did the ESPN app. Just throwing it out there if anybody else is using those. But, remember this next year when it's Crown Jewel, but the titles are Crown Royal titles sponsored by Crown Royal. Make sure DB is getting a cut of that deal.
By the Sit Down Marks podcast.
Yeah. I think you just gave him another sponsorship, DB.
I think I did. We need to come up with the Sit Down Marks flavor of Crown Royal. So, All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the hot start. Let's move on to the dropkick discussion of the week. This week, scary gimmicks. But first, let's hear a word from Matt Hatter.
This is your friendly neighborhood maniac, Matt Hatter, and you are listening to Sit Down Marks with DB, AJ, and Primo, and welcome to my wonderland.
Thank you.
All right, 'tis the season to be scary. So let's talk some scary gimmicks, man. We've all grown up with some scary gimmicks. The gimmicks that were always made us a little nervous, or you watch these kind of guys and you thought how unpredictable they were. We're gonna talk about some from the past, some from the future, some from the future, some from the now. I don't know about the ones from the future.
Something I know?
Ones from the now. So let's jump into it, boys. I mean, when I think scary, I think of the Dead Man, right off the bats. Undertaker, the music, the cloak, what is it? Digging holes, something souls,
Burying
all that kind
souls
of stuff.
and digging holes.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, and Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer, he kind of added like a scary element.
Yeah, he was like a ghoulish.
Yeah. And I always think about Papa Shango. Like he can make people bleed just by kind of looking at them.
That
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was scary. You know what I mean? That always kind of he always had like this unpredictability about him. The smoke that came up off his staff thing, whatever he carried, and those were always scary elements. To me, and this guy's in my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever, and probably because he scares the shit out of me. I'll still watch old YouTube videos of him, and he gets out of the ring and starts running around. People run like the plague is coming towards them. But, Bruiser Brody, that's like the ultimate scary guy to me, like legit, shoot scary. You know what I mean? And, he kind of looked like my dad a little bit too. So, and I always think guys are really scary when they got razor blade marks on their forehead. You know what I mean? Sticking on the women's side, Luna Vachon, she was kind of a scary, woman that, with, the way she acted, she had tattoos on her head. That to me is like, don't mess with her. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things. Abaddon, probably one of the one of the more newer, scarier, type people.
Rosemary.
And, Rosemary definitely on the list. Sue Young, the Undead Bride. I always think about her. I always think about her, being scary, bloody, that kind of stuff. But
Whatever Nikki Cross is right now.
Yes,
The whole Wyatt.
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
Wyatt
yeah.
Six thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Each one of them are creepy in their own,
Yeah.
kind of like little way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Primo. Why don't you throw out a couple here?
You can even go back to like earlier iterations of Bray Wyatt's character.
Yeah,
Even also back to like Waylon Mercy. Like that, any of that type of stuff where it's more psychological.
Yeah.
Even if something scary, also psychological. Jake the Snake Roberts, he has a fucking snake with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm terrified of.
Really.
Yeah, he talks. Yeah, very menacing and low.
Yeah.
Forces you to pay attention to him.
Right.
You could think of something like you said the Undertaker. We got the whole Ministry of Darkness.
Yes. They're on my list.
Mm-hmm.
We say the Boogeyman. The dude eats worms.
Right. Saw him do it this past weekend.
Yep.
Another one I want to get it. Two more that I want to get into. Get in here before I pass it to Dylan. Definitely Gangrel. Dude is a vampire.
Definitely.
He does the bloodbath, and he literally has the long teeth canine things.
Yeah.
Vampire teeth.
Banging.
But also along with that, some of another person that's kind of like similar, but more lucha, and that's Vampiro.
Right. Yeah, he's on my list too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're scared of clowns, you got Doink, Evil Doink.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but you go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah. So you both mentioned them. I got an Undertaker story I just have to share real quick about being like legit scared. So if you think back, 1994 Royal Rumble was Undertaker, Yokozuna casket match. And that's when like half the heel locker room comes out and they all beat up Undertaker and throw him in the casket. And they go down the ramp and his face pops up on the big monitor and he cuts a promo and he like ascends up into the heavens. And as he's doing that, it's like thunder and lightning like in the arena, right? So I wasn't alive in 1994. The first time I see that is on a DVD. I'm watching it at my grandparents' house. It's late at night. We have all the lights off and it's actually storming outside. So it's like actual thunder and lightning and it's dark. And like as he starts to ascend, there's a big thunderclap like right outside. And I remember jumping off the couch. I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, that one got me."
He's here.
Like,
he's here.
This is like 15 years old or so at the time. Like I know that, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's a little too real right here, Undertaker. Just calm down." But a bunch of the names you guys mentioned, Papa Shango, Doink. I had the Wyatts on my list, and I have it like bookmarked out because there's like every different version of the Wyatts was scary. If you go back to like the Swamp People, Bray, Harper, and Rowan when they first come out, that's pretty scary. Yep. And then when he becomes the Fiend, however you want to say it, the Firefly Funhouse guy, 1 minute happy puppet smiling, and then just snap of the finger, he's this dark monster, coming after you. And then even his last return before he passed, with like the door that the Wyatt Six is using now, and that whole presentation, it was like a different, but still kind of like uneasy. I don't know what this guy can do to me type.
Right.
On there, a couple of names you guys didn't mention. One, I haven't seen a whole lot of like the actual scary stuff. I've just heard stories, but Kevin Sullivan. If you go back to like the Florida territory, just me being my age, I've seen way more of the WCW Dungeon of Doom type stuff that was maybe supposed to be scary, but like who's really getting scared at the Dungeon of Doom? But if you go back and hear stories about what he was doing in the Florida territory, apparently he had them kind of like what you're saying about Bruiser Brody, but in a more like evil, sinister, demonic type way. Got to mention Kevin Sullivan. I threw Black Rain on my list from TNA when Dustin did that like darker, like in the boiler room type. He had his rat named Missy because who doesn't love a rat named Missy?
Right.
Threw that on there. I had Jake the Snake. I had Gangrel and the Brood. I got to say, Boogeyman, like, you go back and look at what he did on TV and you can almost kind of laugh at it now. But just to go back to this past weekend when he's, a foot in front of you and he's got his like mask thing over his head and he's got a bag of worms and he's got his stick and he's kind of there doing his little walk deal. I was like,
Right.
you know, I'm standing back. I'm not scooting up any. You can do your own thing. And kind of Abaddon the same way back in August, I believe that was, when she was at Uprising. It's like, you know, I'm comfortable back here behind the guardrail. You guys do whatever you need to do up there. I'm just going to stay back here.
Yeah, Boogeyman had fans eating worms this past weekend at an independent show that Dylan and I were at. He was just walking around the ring handing out candy, and he started to do the worms like he was going to fake on himself, and then fans started opening up their mouths, like walking near him. And so he's just dropping them. You know, it's all over the internet right now. If you want to look up,
that's funny. Some we didn't. I can't believe we haven't mentioned yet, but Kane. Not only just Kane, but for me personally, I thought masked Kane was super cool. I thought unmasked Kane was, because when he went unmasked, he was in the shackles and lit JR on fire. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, Isaac Yankem was kind of scary too. You know, his gimmick before.
I had both of them because I hate Dennis. So
also
Dennis,
say Abyss.
Yeah,
definitely Abyss. He's on my list. You were talking about the ministry. Viscera and Median, I always thought both of them were like, you know, they like made the ministry to me, because you know you wouldn't want to mess with those guys, you know, either way. What do you guys think about Crow Sting being a little on the scary side?
I mean, he's like dark, brooding.
Right.
I'm wearing a Sting shirt actually right now.
Yeah. A couple more here. Sort of scary, sort of funny. You know, Danhausen, he kind of keeps the scary gimmick, you know, still alive. We got to say Cactus Jack, Mankind. You know what I mean? Those guys.
Mankind down,
of course.
Same guy, those guys. You know what I mean? Like, you know, definitely. A couple left on my list. The guy that I dressed up as this weekend, Nails. You know, he's a little scary gimmick. Abdullah the Butcher. You know, he's still scary. If he come running at me with a fork, I'm out of here, dude. You know? What about Kevin Thorne with Ariel? Remember when he was Mordecai?
Yeah, I had Mordecai on my list, like the inverse Undertaker almost. You know, wearing white and had that giant cross-looking sword deal. Yeah.
My last few, Berserker. You know, just a little off the hinge. You know, not too scary, but we talked about it in on mine and Primo's episode of Cheap Pops. You know, we're talking about Spray and Mist. You know, Muda and Kabuki. You know what I mean? They were kind of scary with that. The last one on my list is a guy that I saw like as a child. You know what I mean? And you know, he's slapping his belly. He's got paintings and stuff all over him. You know, Kamala, the Ugandan giant, right? Like. You know, the original, like he had that wooden mask, the like real long one that looks super scary. You know what I mean? So, but that concludes my list. You guys got anything else?
I had a couple. Go ahead,
Dylan. Go ahead.
No, I had a lot of your last couple there, DB. I had on my list the Kabuki, the Kamala. I had Black Scorpion down there. From WCW, you know, supposed to be scary, doing like the magic tricks in this feud with Sting. Then he turns out just to be Ric Flair. You know, his voice sounds a lot like Shockmaster's voice too. I don't know what was going on with that. I had a 2025 Bill Goldberg. That guy scared the shit out of me. I don't know about you guys, but throwing Bill Goldberg out there, that's pretty scary. And I think the scariest one of all that none of us have mentioned, Arn Anderson. If you walk up on him at a stop sign, like,
damn,
you don't walk up on Arn. That's the scariest wrestler of them all.
That's right. That's true.
Pull a Glock on you, double A.
That's most of my list. We already ran through. I had those on there just a
some of my other ones on my list are kind of funny. Like the Yeti. Marty the Moth from Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
The Zombie from ECW, from 06 ECW. Then you have stuff like with dark undertones, like Demon Finn Balor, or even Aleister Black.
Yeah,
or even the whole House of Black, for that matter.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I think you could even do Penta Black.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
or Karrion Cross. But
Right.
there's so much you could do with the whole spooky or
Yeah.
dark related gimmicks. But I think the list we got so far is great.
Yeah. And just always, it's kind of this time of year, it always kind of reminds you of those, you know what I mean? And so it's always nice to talk about the ones that, made us a little nervous, or, that they would beat up our favorite wrestler, or, you just never know what, they were going to do. So it's always good to talk about them, because guys like that make wrestling, man. You got to have, you got to have people to really make you suspend your belief. Yeah, Snitsky. There you go. Yeah. Punting babies. You know what I mean? So
it's not his fault.
It's not. Still not. Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for the Dropkick discussion. Primo, it's time to go home, brother. Why don't you take us there?
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
All right. I want to remind everybody to follow at Sit Down Marks and subscribe at sitdownmarks.com. Primo's got an Etsy store. Primo, what's your Etsy store called?
The name of the store
Inside
is
joke.
Darkfire 3D. Darkfire 3D.
There you go.
Yeah, you
There
check
you
it
What
go.
was that? What was the name of that?
I think it was Bark Dyer 3D.
There's a brand new Cheap Pops out right now where Primo and I talk about weapons used in wrestling. So make sure you go check that out. Dylan and I was just at Dreamwave this weekend for Trick or Treat. Look for that to be coming out here pretty soon on IWTV. The results are out there, but just quick notes, Dylan, what's the matches to watch? Obviously, that main event, Channing Thomas and Connor Hopkins, is going to be legendary in Dreamwave lore. But what else did we watch?
Yeah, I agree. Let's keep the spoiler free. They're out there if you want to find them, but leave it spoiler free until the stream drops.
Yep.
Like you said, main event is absolutely incredible. You do not want to miss that. I really enjoyed Brittany Brooks and RJS, Rebecca J. Scott, for the Uprising Alternative title. Make sure I get that right.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly what they called it, but Becca's Gauntlet, the Becca Invitational Extravaganza,
Sure.
All the qualifiers they put on it. That match was a lot of fun. Some cool surprises in that. Tag title match, Bang & Matthews and Hype was really good. And the women's title match. I'll end it there. The women's title match, another one you need to seek out whenever the stream drops.
Yep. And so right before Trick or Treat came on this weekend, we had the Dreamwave Prelude Rising Star Battle Royal. You're not going to want to miss this. How can you watch it? Well, Dreamwave Prelude, another episode is coming up here in just a couple weeks. Go right now and get caught up on all the first 3 episodes on sitdownmarks.com. So that's going to drop, I think, somewhere around the first couple of days in November. So make sure you check that out and get caught up on everything that's going on in Dreamwave Prelude. And we'll be dropping another one of those in a few weeks. And really looking forward to this one, man, because this one might be the best one yet. So I'll just leave it at that. So before we get deep diving too far in the rest of the pod, Dylan, give us that weekend preview, man. What's the shows to check out this weekend?
Yeah. I'll keep this kind of quick because I have like 7 or 8 shows on the preview this week. It's a loaded weekend, so we'll just hit some highlights here. ICW, they head to Chattanooga for a double shot Friday and Saturday. Titles on the line both nights. First night, it's John Wayne Murdoch defending against Hoodfoot, and if he retains, he'll defend against international talent Vixen on night 2. Chicago area, we got Freelance on Friday. Dan the Dad and Cody Lane trying to win back the tag titles from Bang & Matthews, TNA Stars Center and Saint, and Danny Luna on that card. And then AAW back at Berwyn on Saturday. One that's really got my eye is Davey Richards, excuse me. Davey Vega versus Hartenbauer with Matt Fitchett as a special referee. So there's some themes crossing in that one.
Yeah.
Myron Reed and Killer Kelly teaming up against Maggie Lee and Isaiah Moore. That should be a lot of fun. C4 up in Canada, it's back. They got a tag tournament going on this weekend. Action Wrestling down in Georgia. Tim Bosby defending against Adam Priest. Gary J, we mentioned earlier, going up against Darian Bankston. That one could steal a whole weekend. And Limitless is back. We love our Limitless wrestling. Got to get up there one day.
Yeah.
Shannon Thomas taking on Fancy Ryan Clancy. Donovan Dijak versus Aiden Agro. And last show, I'll mention Deadlock Pro back in Carolina. They've got a loaded card. Adam Priest versus Jake Something for the title inside a steel cage. There's a triple threat ladder match for the tag titles. It's Miracle Generation versus Violence It's Forever versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. And for all you old school Ring of Honor FIP fans, shout out Connor Hopkins. It'll be Roderick Strong taking on Eric Stevens, a renewal of their rivalry from all those years ago. All those longer form on my preview this week. Find that on my Twitter. It's the best place. Should drop tomorrow evening at DHagerJ15 to find my Twitter. It'll be pinned to the top. I want to mention something real quick, DB. I meant to run this by you beforehand, but I'm just going to do it and ask forgiveness instead of permission. I want to shout out Jake Bosch real quick.
Sure.
Friend of the podcast, half of the new guys. Since we recorded last, Jake had to retire, got some health issues, got to take care of. A little over 2 years, I want to say 2.5 years, something like that. It's all we got of Jake, but I'm so glad we got that short period of time. So many good memories. Look at all the stuff he did at Dreamwave in St. Louis, at Glory and Anarchy and WrestleMax. And, they were really starting to make, him and Scotty are starting to make their name known all across the scene, not just here in the Midwest. And, on behalf of the Marks, we wish Bosch all the best going forward. Can't wait to see what he's got going on next.
Absolutely. And, if you don't know much about them, go back and listen to our podcast when we had the new guys on. They explained a lot about themselves, their passion for the business. I hate to see a career cut, short like this, but, glad that he was able to step away and fix what he needs to fix because, it's health first, you know what I mean? And first and foremost. So yeah, shout out to the new guys. Wish them guys all the best. And, we're going to see them doing something else. So, just hang tight and we'll, be able to see what they got coming up in the future. But, speaking of too, since you said that, I want to shout out to the Premier too, one of the top tag teams in the independents. They were in a bad car wreck over the weekend and they're going to be out for a while. So I'm glad that they're okay, and they got their merch and stuff up right now. So if you feel so inclined, go buy some of their merch and support them. All right, let's talk about what we got coming up next. You heard me talk about Primo and I's new Cheap Pop is out. Well, it's Primo's Cheap Pop. I was just a guest on it, so go check that out. But
very fun episode.
It really was. Yeah. It really was. It was a really good one. So next week we're coming right back at you. We're going to review AEW Wrestle Dream, and we're going to rank our top 5 of 2025. Like who's had the best 2025 so far out of in professional wrestling. So we're going to be talking about that. This will be mainstream wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA, all that kind of stuff. And then also towards the end of the month, another Dirty Birds Territory Treasure is going to drop. Well, I'm going to be talking about the guy that got me into pro wrestling, got me interested in pro wrestling, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. And then I want to also mention too, our last interview of the year coming up next month. We're going to be talking to, if you've been to a wrestling show around Chicago area, you saw this guy ringside taking pictures. Camera guy, Gimmick is his gimmick, I guess, but his name is Nick Consalvo. He is a Chicagoland photographer, and he's the owner of Bloodstone Wrestling, who just had their first show this past Friday. So he'll be talking about all that and just talking about being a photographer in wrestling and how that all came about. So we'll be talking to Nick in November. Also, too, want to remind you that if you're interested in being a wrestler, if you're interested in being a manager, anything to do with wrestling, well, Dreamwave Wrestling Academy, they're finishing up their first session this week, so it'll be time to start up the very next session. If you feel like you like to be a part of it, please email dreamwavewrestling@gmail.com. That's dreamwavewrestling@gmail.com, and get on the waiting list, because you're going to be learning from guys like Connor Hopkins, from guys like Christian Rose. You might even see me in there, stopping in there sometimes. I'm not going to teach you anything, but I'll sure encourage you. You know what I mean? There, but just want to give them a big shout out. So before we go home, boys, I don't know if you've seen this. I kind of want to mention it. Meant to mention it earlier, but I want to mention it now. Did you guys see Konosuke Takeshita is the new IWGP champion? How, man, does that not fit? Like I feel like he should be the champ for the next 5 years there. Like, it just so fits.
Yeah, I've not got to watch the match yet, but I did see that, I believe Sunday morning, something like that. Beat Saber for the title.
Yeah.
He's coming off the G1 win, got him the title shot. So well deserved. Make him the champ of AEW and New Japan and DDT and wherever else. The guy's just incredible.
Yeah, it is. And I am waiting with bated breath to see that match between him and Okada. I know they're going to build to it, and it's going to be on a big old pay-per-view. And take my money, because I'll watch that all day long. Dylan, did you decide? Are you going to go to Wrestle Dream this weekend?
So if Okada and Takeshita would have been on Wrestle Dream, I would have been there.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards not going. If I'm going to pay $40, I'd rather just spend it on the pay-per-view and watch it from my couch instead of spending $40 for a ticket and having to pay for parking and drive 2.5 hours up there and spend 8 hours at the show and drive home. Gonna wait and watch, Dynamite tonight. They're kind of teasing Kenny Omega, Josh Alexander. If that match gets booked, that might get me in the building. So I'm probably not going to be there, but it's wrestling and it's me, so we'll see. We may wake up Saturday. Yeah, we may wake up Saturday and decide we need to go for a drive.
Yeah. Also, I want to remind you one last time before we go. Zawa Live is going to have us back. I guess they kind of like us over there. So we're going to be back at Zawa Live, Nelson, Illinois, Saturday, September the 8th. This kind of become our yearly visit with Zawa Live, podcast wise. I go to some shows throughout the year, but Zawa Fest is always in November. So we're going to be there for that. If you're one of the first 100 attendees through the door, you're going to get yourself Sit Down Marks podcast koozie, just like Primo's showing you right now on the stream if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure you come out early to get those koozies, and want to thank Zawa Live for having us back, man. And look forward to it. Really are. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and watching on all those visual platforms. Let's say that backwards. All right. Well, thank everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, and everybody listening on all those podcast platforms out there, including Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and number one.
Hey, man, congrats to him on all his big interviews lately.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Bryce, the boss, SportsWire Radio. He's had all kind of like rock stars on his show lately.
Dude. Yeah.
He's really knocking it out of the park lately. So sportswireradio.org or look up SportsWire Radio. Thomas Bryce, the Reverend, man, is getting it done.
Number one for a reason.
That's right. All right, guys. For myself, Primo, and Dylan, that's going to do it for us on the flagship today. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for spreading the word of good. Wow, what the hell's wrong with me here at the end? All right.
In the pod.
Yeah. In the pod, damn it. Pull the plug. All right. Well, thank you guys for your support. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it so much. Keep spreading the good word of wrestling. We'll see you next time. All right, so this is the segment of the podcast where if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, we look at old posters today. Well, I got 2 posters for you today, boys, but the same pay-per-view. Let's look at the first one. Here we go.
Kelly?
Armageddon, 2002.
Okay. Yeah.
This one was held in Sunrise, Florida, 2002. Ones. So this was the main poster that came here. It looks pretty cool there. And then another one came out just a little bit later, highlighting more of the matches here. So on this particular pay-per-view, Kurt Angle beat Big Show for the WWE Championship. Triple H beat Shawn Michaels. Anybody want to guess the stipulation of the match?
3 stages of hell. It's a street fight cage match ladder match.
You're an encyclopedia, man. Good
I love
Lord.
this pay-per-view.
All right. All right. Well, who won the tag champs on this pay-per-view then?
This was
Booker T and Goldust beat Jericho and Christian and the Dudleys and Storm and Regal.
What
I
was
believe a 4-way. Benoit beats Eddie. Batista beats Kane.
Yeah.
Edge and A-Train. I want to say there's a schmoz finish, but I think Edge gets the win.
Next week, your name tag should say the Schwab. Remember the Schwab?
Yeah,
ESPN that knew all the facts and stuff.
Yeah,
you're the Schwab of wrestling.
Yeah. Victoria, Jackie, and Trish. Before I forget,
that's an old picture. These are the older picture of Sean too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is right after he comes back.
Yeah, before
he comes back at that SummerSlam, and then comes back again at that Survivor Series, and
before he had time to get a new headshot.
Yeah.
Is that after he lost his smile?
Yeah.
Tori's still looking good though.
Tori
still looks good.
Yeah.
Like 50-year-old Tori still looks good.
It's my wheelhouse. All right.
Blondes.
Chocolate candy.
Fruit candy.